Welcome back. A touching moment 2 children in Delaware County will never forget. A dream came true today. They were able to meet their favorite superhero at school.
Hey, what's up? How you doing? Come on, give me 5. Oh, give me 5. Give me her 5.
I think some of them are in shock. Batman himself rolled up to Albany Elementary School in his Batmobile to visit with Christian Daughtry and Emery Barger. Christian has a brain tumor and Emery has leukemia. So Batman took time out of his crime-fighting schedule to encourage those children to fight cancer. The Caped Crusader had lunch with Christian and Emery, which probably made some of the other students a bit jealous, and Batman had a message for everyone.
I want to thank you for being as helpful as you have been to these two, because they fight their battles every day. Isn't that true? Yeah. But you know what? It's friends like you that give them strength. So you know what? All of you give yourselves a hand for being so supportive for them.
Batman also let Christian and Emery sit in the Batmobile. A huge thrill for sure. We wish Christian and Emery the best in their fight against cancer. All new at 6 p.m., a dog that has attacked other animals a few times, saved from euthanization. What the dog's owner agreed to that saved his pet's life. And first on the Now Indy, an alarming issue, thousands of Kia and Hyundai vehicles spontaneously catching on fire. But not all of those cars have been recalled when you could finally get answers. You're watching RTV6.
If you don't call,
you don't save.
Speeding is one of the topics we are covering in our lineup today on The Now. How much time is it actually saving you, and the dangerous reality of increasing speed limits? Plus, a police officer pulling a gun on a black student picking up trash in his yard. It's the latest viral case of possible racial profiling. How this topic is part of a larger discussion coming into the classroom. Also, this.
Feels like somebody else is just driving.
That man is behind the wheel of a self-driving semi-truck. What the future of these could mean for the big trucker shortage we're experiencing right now.
Thank you, Kamasi. This is the Now Indy on RTV6. I'm Amanda Starantino. New developments tonight in the investigation that our Call 6 team has been following for months. Thousands of Kia and Hyundai vehicles spontaneously catching on fire, but so far only some recalled. Call 6 investigates. Paris LaBelle finds 2 federal investigations are underway as drivers are still waiting for answers.
The National Highway Transportation Safety Administration opening those 2 investigations, but for 5 million cars that are still on the road, it's a waiting game.
It's something we've seen across the country. Kia and Hyundai vehicles spontaneously catching fire.
Investigation that's overdue.
It's been an issue for years, and in just February, Kia and Hyundai recalled about 500,000 vehicles like the Hyundai Sonata and Santa Fe, as well as the Kia Optima, Sorento, and Soul. But the Center for Auto Safety says this issue affects many more vehicles.
By our count, it's probably somewhere in the 5 million. Range, 5 million or more.
That recall didn't cover a number of similar model cars that experienced the same exact problems, like David Hollis's Kia Soul that caught fire on I-65 in December.
the hood was on fire.
What was going through your mind at that moment?
I can die right now. Things just got real.
Overall, there's been more than 3,100 fires and 103 injuries reported to NHTSA with those vehicles. The Center for Auto Safety originally filed a petition for an investigation by the feds back in June of last year, but there was no movement on it until this week.
What I think is unusual here is when you're seeing so many fires. Over 3,000 non-crash fires being collected in terms of data by the manufacturers and the federal government. For that length of time to pass, 9 months to pass, when it's something so serious as car fires, is very concerning.
But it's still a waiting game for drivers.
But the reality is investigations don't fix cars. Recalls get cars off the road, repairs get them fixed, and that's really what we're focused on. But we're certainly happy to see this first step be taken, even though this first step is much later than we would have liked to have seen.
So the big question is, how long will this investigation take? The Center for Auto Safety says some investigations take months and some take years. It's really unclear, and it's up to the National Highway Transportation Safety Administration. The Center for Auto Safety says if you drive a Kia or Hyundai vehicle and you notice something weird with your car, maybe a weird noise or something's just not acting right, make sure to get it into a shop as soon as possible to make sure everything is okay. Reporting tonight, Paris LaBelle, RTV6.
Thanks, Paris. And today, clouds kind of keeping a lid on those temperatures, still making it to 60 degrees in Terre Haute. The rest of us, though, in the 50s. 59 degrees in Castleton, 58 in Greenwood and Fishers. And that's pretty close to where we should be for this time of year. 57 right now downtown. Humidity has come up quite a bit since yesterday at this time, as our winds have turned more out of that west direction, but they are fairly light. It's been a game of trying to find any sunshine. We've had some there across parts of Bartholomew County, but as soon as that pops out, the clouds fill right back in. No rain this evening, though, if you are going to be heading to Bankers Life Fieldhouse for the Pacers game. Just mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures still in the mid-50s at 10. Kamasi.
New developments today in that bizarre case where a man claimed to be a missing boy who disappeared back in 2011. That man now charged with making false statements to federal agents. Corey Rangel has the latest on the investigation, including claims the suspect has done something similar before.
The man who pretended to be a missing boy appeared in court today, charged with lying to investigators. 23-year-old Brian Reaney claimed to be Timothy Pitson, who disappeared nearly 8 years ago. While being questioned, Reaney refused to be fingerprinted, but agreed to a DNA swab, which determined Reaney lied about being the missing boy. Investigators say they had doubts early on.
I think there were suspicions relatively quickly, if for no other reason than he declined to be fingerprinted.
Investigators alluded Reaney may not have wanted to be fingerprinted because that's how authorities caught him doing something deceivingly similar in the past.
Reaney had actually, on 2 prior occasions, claimed to be a victim of juvenile sex trafficking, and that on those occasions he had been discovered, his true identity had been discovered when he had been fingerprinted.
We also learned why investigators think Reaney knew so many details about the missing boy's case.
He learned this information from watching a 2020 episode about Timothy Pitson. We confirmed that there was such a 2020 episode and that, in fact, a rerun had aired just several weeks ago.
While this case leaves many people expressing sorrow for the Pitson family, whose hopes have been left heartlessly dashed in this cruel hoax, Callahan Walsh with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children says there's some good to come out of this.
It's got national media coverage, and so hopefully somewhere out there who knows what happened to Timothy, who truly knows what happened to Timothy, may see this and may come forward.
Meanwhile, Reaney faces up to 8 years in federal prison. I'm Corey Rangel reporting.
Thanks, Corey. Self-driving semi-trucks are getting close to reality. Next in our lineup, what the future of these could mean for the big trucker shortage we're experiencing right now.
I'm gonna tie my shoes.
Bob's Discount Furniture.
Welcome back to the Now Indy on RTV6. A man learns his punishment for sending a pipe bomb that exploded at a northwestern Indiana post office, which injured a worker. Eric Craig of Munster was sentenced this week to 29 years in prison after pleading guilty in December to making an unregistered destructive device. In an earlier court filing, Craig said he mailed the pipe bomb September 6, 2017. It was addressed to an attorney who was representing a client who filed a lawsuit against Craig. The bomb later exploded at the East Chicago post office.
We've all heard about self-driving cars. Well, what about self-driving 18-wheelers? Several companies are working on this technology. Chris Welch caught up with one of them that says it could actually be a lifesaver for one of the worst trucker shortages in history.
Bill Chavez has always been fascinated with big trucks.
It was very cool, you know, they're king of the road.
But the truck he drives now is just a little different than the ones he's used to. See these buttons? With one push, this truck can drive itself.
Feels like somebody else is driving.
What we're trying to do is create the world's safest self-driving trucks.
Chuck Price is Chief Product Officer at Too Simple, one of a handful of companies working on autonomous semi-trucks.
This is actually a laser radar unit. We call it LiDAR. It's built into the mirror. This gives us a close-in view, and then we have cameras along the top of the vehicle that show us the environment much further away.
Now, the company would not let us ride inside one of the vehicles in self-driving mode, but their trucks are already on the roads here in the Southwest.
Our systems see farther, track more objects, and respond faster than a human can operate.
Right now, a backup human must be in the trucks at all times, but they say a full self-driving semi could happen by next year. And that could solve a really big problem.
This is the worst shortage we've seen in the history of trucking.
Tony Bradley with the Arizona Trucking Association says nationwide, they're currently 50,000 drivers short.
It's a big deal in our industry.
Bradley says 15 years from now, the shortage could be as high as 200,000, thanks to the large number of drivers approaching retirement age.
It's a job that is, frankly, not very glamorous.
Bill Chavez knows there may come a time where drivers might be replaced by this technology, but he's okay with that because he says roads will be safer for everyone.
This is a system that's going to help. Either way, it's helping.
But that day, he says, is much further down the road. Reporting outside Tucson, Arizona, I'm Chris Welch.
Thanks, Chris. Back to our lineup. And all the labels on food like sell by or best by can be confusing. You probably end up throwing out food that's still good. How the labels could be changing in a tool you can use right now to take out the guesswork. Topping the Now news feed, a new study finds even 1 or 2 alcoholic drinks a day can increase the chances of having a stroke. The study in the journal Lancet followed 500,000 people for 10 years. Researchers